Right. Time to move on to multicolored. Um, this is what's going to take us a long time. Usually multicolored takes us ages. Artifacts takes us like 5 minutes, and then lands takes us 5 minutes. But I think there might be a lot more artifacts and lands than I'm used to, so it might take slightly longer. So we might still have another couple of hours in us. But yeah, let's start with Absolute Virtue, which is 8 mana. It can't be countered. It's a flying 8/8, and you have protection from each of your opponents. So this just wins you the game. Like, you have to get to 8 mana in white and blue, but if you get to 8 mana in white and blue, this just comes down and you just win the game. I mean, unless they can remove this. They can remove this. But you can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything from your opponents. So you can't be dealt damage on the attack. So you don't have to block. You can't be targeted or anything. So essentially, as long as you can keep this alive, your opponent can't do anything, and you can just kill them with this, because this is fine. But there might be big enough creatures that can block this, so there are definitely ways to kill this. But yeah, this is a big boy. And he does essentially mean you no longer have to care about anything your opponent is doing to you specifically. Balfir and Fran. Okay. Is 3 mana for a 4/3 with reach. Vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach. Was green-red supposed to be vehicles and artifacts? We didn't see any. Whenever a vehicle crewed by these two attacks, if it's the first combat phase, pay 3. If you do, there's an additional combat. Okay, I mean, it's a 3 mana 4/3. That gives every vehicle stuff. We haven't seen a lot. We haven't seen any of the colorless vehicles yet, but I don't know if there was that many green or red vehicles. Not that I really remember, but maybe I'm stupid and just forgetting. But, I mean, it's a 3 mana 4/3 with reach. You probably just take this. Black Waltz number 3. 4 mana for a flying death touch 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, he deals 2 damage to each opponent. So he is Gutter Snipe. More expensive Gutter Snipe, but he has flying and death touch. Sure. Sure, I'll take it. Chocobo. Oh, sorry. Choco. Seeker of Paradise. Is what? Green, white, blue. Bant? Bant and 1. For a 3/5. Okay. Whenever one or more birds... Was there any bird synergy in white and blue? Not that I remember. Whenever one or more birds you control attacks, look at the top cards of your library. You may put one of them into your hand, then put any number of land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest into your graveyard. Whenever a land you control enters, Choco gets +1/+0 until end. I mean, this is the bird top end, I guess. Because what, you attack with 3 birds, look at the top 3 cards, put one of them into your hand, and then up to 2 lands, which gives a bunch of land pool triggers to all of your birds, because all the birds like lands. Sure, why not? Sid, Timeless Adventurer. Hey, Sid. 4 mana for a 4/4. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of Sids, and he has cycling. But he's legendary, so you can't play more than 1 Sid. But I suppose that was what the cycling is for? I mean... white-blue artifacts, I guess? Sure. This, I mean, it's when he enters, right? So you could just play this turn 4, and if you have, like... Oh no, they don't get it for artifacts, it's only artificers. So he is +1/+1 to artifact creatures and heroes, unless you have other artificers. Oh, but it is in your graveyard as well, so if they've killed artificers. I mean, and you can cycle Sids to your graveyard and then he counts for himself. Good. Sure. Probably good. Cloud of Darkness. Okay. 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer. I mean, it has flying, so probably fine, but that's a bit overpriced. When Cloud of Darkness enters, target creature and opponent control gets -X/-X until turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So that's what green-black is trying to do, I guess. Put permanents in your graveyard. Sure, I mean, it is a 3/3 flyer with removal attached, theoretically. Fine. Nothing to sort of write home about compared to some of the stuff we've seen, but sure. Emmett Selk. Hey, Emmett, how you doing? Ugh. You are a 3 mana, 2/4 with vigilance, and when you enter or attack, I get to draw a card and discard a card, yep. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, transform. That's a lot of cards in your graveyard, but okay. Hades, Sorcerer of Eld, is a 6/6 with vigilance. During your turn, you may play cards from your graveyard. If a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Right. So Emmett Selk is a 2/4 vigilance that loads up your graveyard, and then when you flip him, you just get to replay your graveyard. But only during your turn. And then everything goes into exile afterwards. That's probably good enough, right? That probably just wins you the game anyway. But, I mean, he doesn't have any protection on him. You need to get 14 cards in your graveyard to transform him. That's a fucking lot. I don't think he's very good. Not unlimited. I think that's too many cards. Because you only have 40 cards in your deck, right? So 14 cards, you have to be like most of the way through your deck. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't think it's great in limited. I don't. The Emperor of Pal something. 2 mana for a 2/2. He's a mana nerd, but only for non-creature spells. And if you use a non-creature spell, if you cast a non-creature spell that was 4 or more, he gets a +1 counter. And then if they have 3 counters, transform them. They do keep the counters when they transform, I'm pretty sure. So he would be a 5/5, and then he would be a 6/6. And whenever he attacks, he deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. I mean, I don't know how regularly you can cast 3, 4 or more mana. 3 non-creature spells that cost 4 or more mana to get this guy. Because, like, if your opponent is spending their mana on bigger and bigger creatures... Like, again, if we just go down the line. So, if you play this turn 2 and your opponent plays a 2/2 turn 2, then on turn 3, you can't cast a 4 or more... oh, no, you can, because he can cast for himself. So, you cast a 4 mana spell, he becomes a 3/3, your opponent plays a 3/3... I guess if you have one every single turn until he flips, it keeps up. But you're not playing any other creatures. If this is your only creature and you're tapping him to cast the spell, you're not blocking on any of your turns, right? You play this on 2, your opponent plays a 2/2 on their turn. Turn 3, you tap him to cast your spell, he becomes a 3/3. Your opponent plays a 3/3, they swing, you take 2. Let's assume they skip turn 1. Then, turn 4... You don't have to tap this guy to play the spell, so you can tap, make 4. Okay, so yeah, if you have a 4 or more costing spell. Every turn from the turn you play this guy, you can get this out before it gets out of hand. Before you get just beaten to a pulp. Because your opponent can't really attack into it because your creature is always one bigger than theirs. But if they go first, their creature is always one. Their new creature is always going to be as big as yours, right? Because they have a 2/2, you play this guy. The next turn, they play a 3/3, swing with the 2/2. Do you want to block? No, you take 2. Your turn, you play a 4-cost spell. So on their turn, they swing for 5, play a 4/4. You've now taken 7. And this guy is a 3/3. And then he becomes a 4/4, doesn't have to tap. But your opponent swings with a 4/4, a 3/3, and a 2/2. Kill the 3/3. You still take 6. So you go down to what, 7? No. Yeah. So you've taken 7. You're on 13. Take 6. You go down to 7. Then you can get this guy. Then you can flip this guy. And then your opponent just swings again and you're dead, probably? I don't know. Maybe this works. But again, you'd have to be playing spells that interact. It's going to be with a if you're planning on playing this deck, it's going to be really difficult to find the balance between enough creatures that you don't get blasted and enough spells that you can regularly have the 4-cost spells. I think, which I don't like. So, X Death Void Warlock. Okay, 3 mana for a 3/3. Like it. When he enters, you gain 3 life. Love it. The beginning of your step, if there are 6 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, he flips. And then he becomes a star 3 trampler, power equal to number of permanent cards in your graveyard, which is at least 6. So he's a 6/3. Sure. I mean, got trample, he's a big guy. He's a 3/3 that heals you for 3 when you play him. Like, you're not going to be behind the board on this one. This is kind of fine. So yeah, I think this guy's pretty good. Again, it's difficult to know because like there was some support in green for this, and there was probably some support in black for this, but I wasn't really aware. I should probably do that first. But sure. Garland, Knight of Cornelia, is a 2-mana 3/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1, and then for 7, transform it as a... Oh, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed. Okay, so he has to die first. Sure. And then he is a 5/5 flyer. When it dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. And it comes back as Garland again. I mean... It's a 5/5 flyer. But it does cost 7. But it's a 5/5 flyer. This is probably fine. It's a 2-mana 3/2, so it's got good stats on the front end. And then, if they kill it, who gives a shit? If they don't kill it, you can just freely attack with it or block with it. And then, eventually, it becomes a 5/5 flyer, which, if they kill, is gone, probably. Because if this is the last card in your library, then you play Garland on your last turn, and you need to kill him, and transform this guy, and get this guy killed to put a card in your library. Or else you're going to lose by drawing out. So, yeah, kind of whatever. Garnet, Princess of Alexandria, is a 2-mana 2/2 with lifelink. When it attacks, you may remove a lore counter from each of any number of saga and put a +1/+1 counter on her for each. So yeah, so green and white is like +1/+1 counters, and I guess healing as well, because the clerics like healing. Okay. And this is pretty good. There were a lot of saga creatures, that you could just suck counters off and keep around as creatures, and this gets bigger. So yeah, I think this is good. Giot, King of the Dwarves, is a 2-mana double striker, or when that has when he or another dwarf enters, whenever equipment enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. This is good. The fact that he's got innate double strike is good enough, right? Because you put an equipment on him and he just goes hard. So, yeah. He's good. Gladius, don't know his name, and whatever that second part is a 6-mana 6/6. When he enters, search your library for a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped. He does landfall things. Another type creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's a landfall creature that fetches a land. What more could you want? Golbez's Crystal Collector is a 2-mana 1/4. Whenever an artifact you control enters Surveil 1, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more artifacts, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts, each opponent loses life equal to that card's power. Fuck. What artifacts? I mean, maybe. I guess we'll have to look at the artifacts again, but sure. Maybe. I don't think this guy's good, but maybe he's just good enough. I don't know. Doesn't have flying, doesn't have protection. He has to stick around, and you have to have enough artifacts for him to do anything. Probably bad, but there's so much going on in this set. I'm a bit lost. Because, like, everything seems to do... Some of them have a very, linear, this is what you're doing. Landfall, the +1/+1 counters and the healing. The 4 or more costing non-creature spells in red-blue. But the artifact stuff, like, the white-red is doing equipment. What is black-blue doing with artifacts? Black Red has the wizards, but this I don't. There was no artifacts that did any sort of particularly interesting stuff with this. I don't know. Hope Essium? I don't know. 2-mana, 2/2 with lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X card, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. I guess if you want to mill somebody out, you can always use this in Clerics, but I don't know how much that's going to be good. I think I'd prefer to just have the lady that gets bigger. But sure. Ignis, that guy. 3 mana for a 2/2. When he enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Cool. So you trigger landfall as well. Rest of the library. And for 3 mana tap, exile target creature card. Target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, create a food token. We haven't seen anything that does anything with food, but okay, sure. Genova Ancient Calamity. Okay. A 4-mana 1/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Genova's power and up to 1 type creature. That creature becomes a mutant in other types. Whenever a mutant you control dies during your turn, you draw cards equal to its power. I mean, this will probably win you a game by itself eventually, but also, like, sure. I'm assuming this is just kind of doing this is like +1/+1 counters, but for black. Sure, why not? Joshua Phoenix's Dormant. Okay, there's 2 color versions of it. 3 mana for a 3/4. Good. We like good stats. When he enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Sure. And for 5, they become Phoenix, which is a 4/4 flying lifelinker. When it comes in, it deals 2 damage to each opponent, which you heal from because it has lifelink. And then you deal damage to each opponent again, and then it gets to attack. That's 6 damage. That's 8 damage total, and you've healed for 8. And then Flames of Rebirth. Return any number of target creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then he goes back to being Joshua, and you get to discard 2 cards and then draw that many cards again. This is good. I think any of these sagas that keep coming back are really good because they're a pain in the ass to do anything about. You either have to remove the creature side, or if you don't have it, deal with whatever this is doing to you. Yeah, this one's really... I like this one. The lifelink really sells me on this one. The flying lifelink, that means all of this damage is essentially lifelink damage. It's in red-white, which is probably going to be aggressive, which means this any number of target creatures, you can have like 2 or 3 creatures coming back from this. I think this is good. The fact that it just deals 2 damage to each opponent means that it can be the damage over the top that gets through. Oh, my nose. Sorry, it's itchy. Judge Magister, that guy. 2 mana for a 2/2 with Menace, and whenever another creature or artifact you control dies, he gets a +1/+1 counter. Sure. Kefka, Court Mage. Okay, you are... What's those colors again? Grixis? It's been a while since I played. I think that's Grixis. Grixis and 2. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card. So that includes you. Then you draw a card for each card type among the cards discarded this way. 4. And then for 8, each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, and then you transform him into Kefka, Ruler of Ruin, a 5/7 flyer. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. Huh. I mean, he's a 5 mana 4/5, which isn't fantastic, but also isn't terrible. When he enters or attacks, so when he enters, each player discards a card. Let's assume you both discard the same thing. You get to draw a card, which is nice. And then he might just sit there and do nothing. I mean, his 8 is sacrifice a permanent, but your opponent can just sack a land at that point, probably, because they probably have an 8 mana as well. But the 5/7 flyer that makes you draw whenever an opponent loses life is really strong. Like, if you don't have an answer for this, and it hits you, the owner is just drawing 5. So, I don't... Again, I'm usually not a big... No, I think this is good. Because you don't need to do any, like, jumping through hoops. You just need to get to 8 mana. And then he just becomes this. Yeah, I think this guy is actually... Like, I don't know what deck he goes in, but I think you just take the good removal and damaging stuff, and then you just use this guy and just try and kill your opponent with this, and just having massive card advantage. Maybe you do it in a deck with all those not quite gutter snipes, because then you transform this, and then on the following turn, if they don't immediately kill this guy, you can cast some spells when your opponent loses life, because the little wizard guys deal damage whenever you cast spells. You just get to draw a bunch of cards and just kind of fuel it. So yeah, it's probably something like that. Sure. Kuja, Genome Sorcerer. Sure. 4 mana for a 3/4. At the beginning of your end step, create a wizard. And then if you have 4 more wizards, transform him. Okay, so this guy is going to poop out gutter snipes. Not, well, baby gutter snipes. Which is terrifying, because if they don't deal with him quick enough, he is going to make you a board of gutter snipes, and then you're just going to deal damage to your opponent by casting spells. What does he become? Okay, whatever. That thing. He's a 4/6 with Fallen Star. If a wizard you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage instead. So all of these become full gutter snipes, because they do 2 damage instead. I mean, if you have instant and sorcery spells, this just kills someone, right? Like, if you have 4 wizards, and this guy flips, and you have a hand of instants and sorceries and all your open mana, you just vomit 3 spells, your opponent takes lethal? Wait, if you've got 4 wizards, because this guy needs 4 wizards to flip, every spell deals 8 damage. So the first one deals 8, the second one deals 16, the third one kills them. So you need 3 instant speed spells and this guy to poop out 4 wizards. That's fucking terrifying. This is another one of those guys, you have to kill him or else. Lightning, Army of 1. The white-red mythic is a 3 mana 3/2 with First Strike, Trample, and Lifelink. Don't like any of those. Stagger. Whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a sorcerer would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls deals double that damage instead. Fuck, she's got lifelink too. She's got first strike too. So you swing out with your army of little token guys, and she strikes first, and your opponent takes double. And any permanent. So then everything that follows up that deals normal damage at normal time just goes. Because damage is dealt simultaneously apart from first strike damage. This is a very scary way to end a game. Like, you could end a game turn 4 with this. Turn 4 or 5. Like, play a creature, play a second creature, the first one attacks. Play lightning, those 2 attack. On turn 4, all 3 of them attack. If your opponent can't block, this hits, doubles the damage for the other 2. Then you can, like, bolt them or something, or would it do some damage to them with a whatever spell? Or just a buff or like equipment on something. Yeah. Yeah, this can kill things really fast. Lock Coal. Sure. 3 mana, 2/3, Death Touch, Lifelink. Whenever Lock Coal deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay. People aren't going to want to block this because it's got Death Touch, but Lifelink is probably going to be, they have to, because it's going to be too annoying that you're just... Noctis, Prince of... That? Okay. 4 mana, that is Esper. Okay, 4 mana, Esper and 1. For a 4/3 lifelink, you may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, they enter with a finality count. Guess white, blue, black are doing artifact things. Okay. I mean, this guy also will heal you for the amount you're paying most of the time, so... I mean, he's a 4 mana 4/3 with lifelink. Not bad. The issue is, I don't know, there's probably bigger things that just block it. But maybe you've got some good... Again, we haven't seen artifacts yet, so it's really hard to tell. We've seen some in the colors, but not like the main section of it, I assume. Omega Heartless Evolution. Okay. Sure. Is a 7 mana 8/8 with Wave Cannon. When he enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that opponent controls. Put X stun counters on each of those permanents and gain X life, where X is the number of non-basic lands you can. Oh, so maybe white, maybe green, blue likes like towns and stuff? But sure, okay, that's, I mean, it's a big thing. We like big things in anything that green has, because green can ramp to them. And he also taps down a bunch of stuff and stuns them. So, and heals you, which is all very good. I'm assuming towns come into play tapped though, so your early game was probably very slow, so you could probably do with the health, because you've probably been getting your ass beat. Riona Heartily? Don't know. 5 mana 4/4. When they enter, create Angelo, a legendary 1/1 green and white dog. And whenever Riona attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Okay, that seems pretty standard for white and green. I think they're not counters. I guess making the token, we will let you get another frog token with the frog guy, but yeah, sure, whatever. Rufus Shinra. Don't know who that is either. 3 mana for a 2/4. When they attack, if you don't control a creature named Darkstar, create Darkstar, a legendary 2/2 white and black dog creature token. Yeah? 3 mana 2/4 that makes a 2/2, as long as you don't already have it. And you can block with that 2/2 and swing with this guy again and make another 2/2. And you can endlessly sacrifice it, and white-black wanted to do sacrifice things. Okay. Rydia, Summoner of Mist. 2 mana for a 1/2 with landfall. Yep. Whenever a land you control enters, discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Sure. And you can summon for X and tap. Return target saga card with mana X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with a financial counter on it. It gains haste. Okay, so you can replay your saga creatures. That's pretty good. And landfall. All the landfall stuff is like going to be really cycling. Like a lot of the landfall creatures and landfall cards seem to be allowing you to get more lands, I think. So this is probably pretty good. Sarah Faron. Sure. 3 mana for 2/2. The first legendary creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 2 or more other legendary creatures, transform them into an artifact. Creatures cost, the first legendary creature spell costs 2 less, and legendary creatures get +2/+2. There's a lot of legendary creatures in this set, so this might be just good enough. Shantoto, Tactician Magician. Names. 3 mana for a 0/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is a mana spent to cast. If it's 4 or more, draw a card. Probably really good in the red-blue cast big spells deck. Sin! Spear's Punishment. Okay, you are... God, what's black, green, blue? Bug? I don't remember. You are a 7 mana 7/7 flyer that when you enter or attack, exile a permanent from your graveyard at random, then create a tapped token that's a copy of that card. If it was a land, repeat. This is probably nuts. Yeah, this is probably nuts. It's a 7/7 flyer for 7, which means it's almost definitely the biggest thing in the air. Well, no, there was the 8/8 flyer. I'm not going all the way fucking back. There was an 8/8 flyer all the way at the back at the start, but apart from that, this is probably the biggest flyer. And this is going to pump out random permanents from your graveyard. Like, and the thing is, if it was like, oh yeah, just do it, and then if you get a land, you essentially brick, that's one thing. But if you get a land, you get to keep doing it, so you can't brick. It's always going to be something useful. Yeah, this is good. I think this is really good. Squall, Seed Mercenary. Okay. 4 mana for a 3/4 with whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. We saw that earlier, didn't we? On the red guy. Okay. Whenever Squall does combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. This is like aggro white-black weenies that attack alone. This is like weird, but maybe this is fine. Maybe there's some like equipment you can put on things and just make them huge, and then they gain double strike. And Tella Great Sage is a 5 mana 3/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless hero token. If 4 or more mana was spent to cast, draw 2 cards. If 8 or more mana was spent to cast, sacrifice this guy, and it deals that much damage to each opponent. again, this is probably fine just because you can, with non-creature spells, you can pump out blockers. But there's only like a few spells in the set that are non-creature spells that cost 8 or more, right? So having those and this guy and getting there, it's a big ask. Maybe it's fine, maybe it's totally doable, but it feels like a lot. So I don't know. I mean, 4 or more, draw 2 cards and create a colorless hero. Because you get all of them, right? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless hero. Full stop. That just happens. If 4 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, draw 2 cards. If 8 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, sacrifice it and deal stats. So you get all 3 if you cast an 8 mana spell, right? Or you just get the top 2. I think that's how that works. So you're always going to get the blockers out of it, so I think this is fine. Terra, Magical Adept. I'm probably not going to play white, red, blue cast big spells because I don't know how good it's going to be. Sure. Anyway, let's move on. Terra, Magical Adept. 3 mana for a 4/2. When it enters, mill 5 cards. Put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. So she likes sagas. And for 6 mana... Hey, Goku-san, thank you for the follow. For 6 mana, exile Terra, then... also, how's your day going, buddy? Then return it to the battlefield transformed only as a sorcery. And it becomes a 6/6 flyer that when it enters, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary, so it can't do itself, enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put up to 3 lore counters on it, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So it does that 3 times. So you're going to need a saga that you could target with that 3 times. And then for 4, she generates 10 mana in Wooburg and then comes back as this girl again. So the fact that this comes back, it swaps back and forth is pretty good, but you need a lot of sagas to make this work, right? You have to be like a saga deck. Which isn't awful. But, especially because sagas can be creatures this time around, so instead of just playing a saga and being... Unfortunately, my headphones just broke today, so I won't be able to hear you. It would be amazing if you talk to me through chat instead. That would make me feel better. Unfortunately, I cannot because I use a program that combines my YouTube and my Twitch chat. So I can't realistically because I have 2 types of chat to talk to. I've said this multiple times because multiple people have come to the chat and said that their headphones are broken. Never with something because of a cat, but yeah. Lots of people have said this, so no, unfortunately I cannot. As I have said multiple times before. Right, Tidus Blitzball Star. So this is the guy you play in 10, right? Is a 3 mana 2/1. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter. And when he attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls. Sure, this is a good attacker that gets bigger. Like it. Okay. Ultimacia Time Sorceress. No idea. 5 mana for a 4/5. When they enter or attack Surveil. Sure. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 8 and exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, transform. That's a big investment. What does it become? A 7/7 with Menace, and when this creature transforms, take an extra... Oh, okay, yeah, that's worth it. Well, yeah, probably. Extra turn with a 7/7 Menace. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'd take that. So you have to have 8 cards in your graveyard and 8 mana, but you do just then get an extra turn to 7/7, which could be all it takes to win a game. Button can't combine chat, so he can't type in it. Ah, thank you, Matt, for letting him know. Right. So yeah. I mean, this probably, depending on how the game's been going, whether you're getting your ass beat or not, this probably just wins, right? Because you just go, transform into a 7/7, take an extra turn, swing with this and whatever else you have. Because you probably, like, this turn, when this is going to transform, you probably still get your attacks, you probably still do some stuff. Maybe you don't cast any spells, maybe you just do the transform. I don't know. Maybe you just win off an extra turn. It is a big investment for an extra turn, though. 8 mana and exile 8 cards from your graveyard. But I mean, extra turns are always kind of really strong, right? Vivi Ornitor is a 3 mana 0/3 with, for 0, add X mana in any combination of red or blue where X is Vivi's power. 0. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. The 0 isn't a tap ability. It is only during your turn and only once, though. So, in limited, this is good. In everything else, this is cracked. Right? Because you play this, and if your opponent doesn't immediately kill it, next turn you, let's say you have 4 mana, you pay, 2 spells, this becomes a 2/5, deals 2 damage to each opponent, pay 0, get 2 extra mana, play another spell, he's a 3/6, and your opponent takes another one. Then if your opponent doesn't kill it again, if you pay 1 spell, he makes 4. Like, does this not just go insane with itself after a while? I don't know. It's hard for me to know, because again, maybe this is... In limited, you're probably not going to have the spells to make this function. But maybe you do, and maybe this is just insane. This is hard for me to know. But this is probably bonkers, I think. I don't know. I don't know, chat. It's probably bonkers. Wandering Minstrel. A blue and a green for a 1/3. Lands you control enter untapped. Cool. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 5 or more towns, create an elemental creature token that's all colors. So, yeah, so blue and green want to do towns. And then for Woolbergen 3, so 8 mana, other creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of towns you control. So I guess towns are a type of land that we will eventually be seeing. Yuna, Hope of Spira. I think she's from 10 as well, right? 5 mana for a 3/5 during your turn. Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, return up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality count. Interesting. So she's... I mean, if you have some good... There was some really good blue, green and white sagas Saga creatures. So this could really go hard if you've got some Saga creatures to go with it. And she also does protect herself because during your opponent's turn they can just kill her, but during your turn, she and all of the other enchantments have ward 2 as well as lifelink and trample, which is going to mean your opponent has to deal with them on their turn, which is going to give you more freedom on your turn to just crack them in the face. Very good card. Zidane? I don't know who this is. 5 mana for a 3/3. When he enters, gain control of target creature opponent controls, untap it against lifelink and haste. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, you create a treasure token. So this is steal on a dude and you get shit? Okay. Don't hate it. Fine. Hey, we're on to artifacts. This is probably just weenie. This is +1/+1 counters for white and black instead of white and green. Or green and black. Kefka's just like a good card, I think. This is another guy for the dealing damage, the wizard combo thing. This is another equipment one. Well, is it? No, this is just aggro. This is artifacts, but in white, blue, and black. We've already seen. No, yeah, this is lands in blue and green. Like, there's so many. There's a token one back there. Like, there's so many different archetypes because they've... I don't know. They've just gone nuts with it. Which is cool because it means your opponent could be playing anything, but like there's just so much. All of your power's going to be mostly from your gold cards anyway, I imagine. The gold warded multi-cards. So you're going to do what you usually do. Pick your best, or your strongest bomb in whatever the gold cards are, and then try and build around that. But there's just so many different archetypes that are going to like work together. It's going to be weird. I think you're going to be 2/3 color a lot of the time as well. Alright, anyway. Starting with artifacts. 3 mana for a 3/2 flyer. Adventurous Airship. 3 mana for a 3/2 flyer. When this vehicle attacks, draw a card and discard a card, and it's got crew 2. Don't really care for vehicles. 8 tier in Priwa? I don't know. 6 mana for a equipped creature has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. Equip 5. I mean, this is really expensive, but it does just make a creature just bonk an opponent for lethal, probably, if you've got healing. But, sure. Blitzball. 3 mana for tap, add 1 mana of any color, or tap, sacrifice this artifact, draw 2 cards. Activate only if an opponent was dealt combat damage by a legendary creature this turn. Sure, this is mostly just a mana rock, but you can draw with it later, which is good. The Buster Sword. Oh, there's going to be more good artifacts than I thought. This is our 4th artifact, and it's another mythic rare. Okay. 3 mana for a equipped creature gets +3/+2, but the equip is 2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. So, bare minimum, you get to cast something from your hand for 4 or less. If it's on a 1/1 and the 1/1 goes unblocked. I mean, in limited, this is crazy, right? It just is. This is an equipment that's just insane in limited, because you just start bouncing it between things, and if your opponent doesn't have an answer to either the equipment or to every creature on your field, you will eventually get to start playing free shit from your hand, and free shit is the best kind of shit. Unless you have like no cards in hand, this card is great. Man, I might have to use I might have to play equipment. God damn. Okay, Buster Sword is cool. I like this card. I think maybe it's a bit slow because it costs 5 to play it and equip it immediately and then attack with it, but Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's what you do. Just save it in hand until you have 5 and then just play, equip, go, and then try and get a free spell. Elixir, 1 mana. This artifact enters tapped, so you can't do anything immediately. And then for 5 and tap, exile it, shuffle all non-land cards from your graveyard into your library, gain life equal to cards shuffled into your library this way. I don't think in limited that's a big deal, but there is some mill, so maybe. Excalibur 2 is a 1 mana artifact. Whenever you gain life, put a charge counter on Excalibur 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on it. So this in the gain life deck is really good. And it has equipped 3. I mean, again, my issue with a lot of these artifacts is going to be that, like, the amount of times I have played artifacts and gone, I equip this, and my opponent goes, remove. And I go, cool, I equip this, and they just go, remove. And I'm like, well, that's all my mana for the turn, because I tried to equip a card twice, and you killed both the creatures, so now I fucking can't do anything. Like, if your opponent is just sitting on a handful of removal, equipment does nothing. But I suppose you have to just assume they don't and then try and do it anyway, because that's the best way to do it. Plus, this is cheap. It's only cost 1 to put it on the field. And there's a bunch of stuff in white and red that loves equipments either being on the field or makes them easy or instant to equip, so sure. Genji Glove, 5 mana. Equipped creature has double strike. Sure, whenever a equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of your turn, untap it. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Okay. I think this is worse than, like, Excalibur or Buster Sword, but this might be better than the shield, because the shield just makes one thing hench, and it costs 1 million. This costs less and gives something double strike, which is actually probably better. And gives you multiple combat phases, which is good. Man, some of these equipments are scary. Instant Ramen. It's 2 mana, flash, when it enters, draws a card. That's good. And you can sacrifice it to gain 3 life. Yep, love it. Good. Like, actually, just because you can flash this in at the end of your opponent's turn, draw an extra card, and then when you have spare mana, you can just use heal. White green as well is going to love this, or the white deck with healing in it. This is great. Iron Giant, 7 mana, 6/6 with vigilance, reach, and trample. Sure. Lionheart, a 4 mana equipment that when it enters shocks, an equipped creature gets +2/+1, and you can equip for 2. Okay, sure. Not good. Maybe you take it anyway just for the deal damage, but I don't. I think if you're taking this as a shock, you're depressed, because this is 4 times the price for shock. Lunatic oh my god, no idea. 1 mana for an artifact that you can tap 2, tap it to surveil, tap 6, tap it to destroy something. There's usually 1 of these in every set. They're usually bad. Magic Pot is a 3 mana 1/4. When it dies, create a treasure. And for 2 tap, you can exile a card from a graveyard. Screws up graveyard shenanigans, but apart from that, it's not particularly interesting. The Masamune. Is that Sephiroth's sword, I guess? 3 mana. As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked. Equipped creature has, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of this creature or an emblem you own to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Okay, and Sephiroth was the one that had, when a creature dies, and gave you the emblem, when a creature dies, an opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life, right? So this turns the drain into double drain. Okay. Also, just giving something first strike and must be blocked is really good, because you can just start chewing through your opponent's creatures unless they have something bigger than the creature this is equipped to. So, okay. I like that. That's pretty good. Monk's Fist. 2 mana to make a 2/1 that is a monk. If you're desperate for equipment, sure. Poo UFO. What? Poo UFO? 2 mana, 0/4 fly. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Triggers landfall. Till end of turn, this creature's base power becomes equal to the number of towns you can. Suppose also lets you play towns faster. Maybe if you're in landfall or the town cards you care about this, I guess. Sure. The Regalia. 4 mana for a 4/4 vehicle with haste, and whenever it attacks, reveal cards to top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order, and you can crew it with essentially anything. I like this one. Because this is just ramp. And after this is ramped you a couple of times, the only thing left in your deck is going to be cards. Plus triggers all your landfall stuff. Yeah, this is good. Oh, this is it. This is the thing that chases you down the mountain. I remember this. It is a robot spider. This is what I remember from 7. I think it was 7. Being chased down the side of a mountain with this thing. Is a 6 mana 6/5. This creature can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. And the 8, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped with a penalty count. I probably wouldn't run this, but sure. Whatever. Ring of the whatever. Luki. I'm going to be butchering a lot of these words, and I am sorry. Like I said, the only Final Fantasy game I've properly played and remember is 14. And even then, I said most of the names wrong. So it's 4 mana for an artifact that generates 2 colorless, and you can pay 2 life and 2 to tap something down. I wouldn't use this in limited, but maybe. World map, 1 mana, and then for 1 tap, sacrifice search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand and shuffle. For 3 mana, search your library for a land, reveal it, put it into your. Oh, for any land card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Sure, this is slow ramp. Here we go. This is the inn. So we're on to towns now. What do I think of the artifacts? I think, as per usual, most of them aren't very interesting. Regalia is good. Masamune's probably good. In maybe not in limited. No, in limited it gives first strike. Yeah, it is. I like the instant ramen as well, just because it's replaces itself and it's fine. Excalibur's probably good, but only in life gain. Buster Sword is just good. And this thing is too expensive. So not good. Sure. Alright, let's have a look at some of these lands. The Adventurer's Inn. When this land enters, you gain 2 life. And it taps for colorless. Sure. Wait, what? Why is... I was expecting to move on to lands, but apparently not. Oh, this is a transform side of a land. Okay, but Balamba Garden Seed Academy. It enters tapped. It is a town. Blue or green. And for 7, you can transform it. It costs 1 less for each other town. And it becomes a flying 5/4 vehicle that you have to crew, but when it attacks, you draw a card. Sure. So this is so all of the dual lands, towns. Yeah, the conversion land is town. There's a hideaway land that's a town. 2, you may play the card exiled without paying its mana cost for 4 or more legendary creatures. Okay. Yeah. This is the choice land and its town. 5 tap, mill 2 cards, then you may sacrifice this land. When you do, return another target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Sure. Tap land. Golden Saucer. Tap for colorless, tap 2, flip a coin if you win, create a treasure. Tap 3 and tap, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. Pretty good if you're in artifacts. Okay. This town has an adventure. So it's either a land that enters tapped for white, or for 5 mana, Faith and Grief. Return up to 2 target artifact or enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. Oh my god, there's so many of these. Oh, there's one for each. So the blue one, target opponent mills half their library rounded down. That's rude. But it is 6 mana, so not too bad. Red one for 4 mana creates the half a gutter snipe. Cool. Black one, you may sacrifice an artifact or creature if you do draw 2 cards. Okay, that's pretty good. Tap land. Land enters tapped unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game. Colorless and pay life for mana. Okay. Sure, I think that's interesting at least. Tap land. The green one. Create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token and put a +1/+1 counter for each land you control. Wow. Yeah. That's for 6 mana though, so that's probably like, so that makes a 7/7. Wow. Okay, sure. All right, and then here are the full art lands. Do I recognize any of these places? We're looking for places from 14, realistically. Recognizable places from 14. Oh, they have wastes? Okay, and these are the special cards you get. I think there's a black one as well. I think there's 5 of these. I think we're missing a color. But so they've got this whole chocobo race thing going on where you get points for taking part in draft and sealed events and stuff like that in the Final Fantasy set. And if you win enough points, you get one of these, and I guess you get to pick the color. I would probably go with blue. Blue's my favorite color. So I'd probably go with the blue one. I do like the blue one. Black one, the green one looks cool as well. I think the pink is too, or red is too vibrantly offensive. And the yellow sort of almost merges with the background. I think the blue stands out really nicely, as does the green. I think the red is offensive to my eyes, and the yellow merges with the background. Like I said, I think there's a black one as well, but I don't know exactly. So I guess, I don't know. If people could go find out, people can, go take part in the games and find out for themselves if there's a black one. But I think there's a black one as well. But yeah, that's it. And then there's whatever this is, one of these first place golden rare things and full art. I mean, this is probably the one people are going to... This looks really ugly to me. I don't like that. I would like this one. This one looks the best. To me. Personally. But yeah, that's it. That is every card in the set that we at least have. If there's more cards, I missed them.